Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Ken, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Rich Walsh alongside Chris Mueller from the 93.7 The Fan, Cam. And Chris, I don't like to hear that snow by Sunday. My snow just melted in my yard. I loved it. I love seeing no snow, and now we're getting snow back. This is such a disappointment.
Richie, it's been a roller coaster of emotion as the weather forecast has changed multiple times. I think at one point I saw the potential for, a foot of snow on Sunday, now 2 inches of snow on Sunday. I'll be in for the sports showdown that night, snow, rain, or shine. But the good news is it should be up again to 60 by later next week. So the snow won't be on the ground for approximately 6 months, which is what it felt like just now.
Yeah, a roller coaster ride, kind of like what's going on with Sidney Crosby's status potentially, how serious it is. They're pretty tight-lipped over there in Italy about what's going on. I mean, I would think if it was something serious, something would have leaked by now, right? But John Cooper comes out and says it's day-to-day, don't count him out, basically, for the rest of the tournament. Are you buying it? Do you think we'll see him in another Olympic game?
I don't think he's going to play in the semifinal. I think there's a chance that if they win, I guess he could play in the final, but the gold medal game, excuse me. But I actually don't think he's going to play at all the rest of the Olympics. I mean, clearly one thing that hockey has imported over to Italy for this tournament is the tight-lipped nature of injuries in the NHL, where we always joke that a guy could have his leg dangling by a thread, almost completely severed. Everyone could be able to see it. The team would be asked what his injury is, and they would just go, it's lower body.
Yeah.
Anything specific? We saw his leg almost fall off. Not just lower body. So I do think that they're being deliberately cagey about this. I think what you said at the start is true. If this was like a torn ACL or something that was going to end his season, I do think we would know it by now. So I don't think it's that, but I absolutely think this could be something that costs him a week and a half, 2 weeks of games, possibly more. Maybe a little bit less, but possibly more as well when the NHL season resumes.
Yeah, it's something he's going to miss time. And you know what? To be honest with you, I really didn't like Dan Muse's answer when he was asked about Crosby a couple times here today, because obviously he's keeping tabs, right? He's in the know. Same with all the Penguins. I would like for them to be a little bit more transparent. I think maybe across hockey, like you said, they'll give you the lower body injury. I hate it. Dan Muse just basically reiterated what John Cooper said. But you would think like there should be like, hey, he should come out and be honest. Hey, it's frustrating. I can't believe he got hurt. Hopefully it's not serious. So show some emotion, not just give that standard answer.
Well, I think a lot of these guys understand that the players want to play in it, even though Crosby admitted that his greatest career achievement is winning a Stanley Cup or Stanley Cups. These guys still want to play in the Olympics. I think the coaches know enough to respect that desire that the players have and to not denigrate them for it. And by the way, as far as like you wanting more transparency with injuries, what I'm about to say is like both grim and kind of depressing, but also true. If more people gambled a lot more money on sports, or on hockey, excuse me, compared to like football, you would have the most detailed injury reports in the NHL, like game in and game out. You'd know if a guy had a hangnail that was going to keep him out of a game. But that sport just doesn't get wagered on the way football does, even the way baseball and basketball do, to my suspicions. And so you get these vague injury reports that more serve the teams than they do anybody trying to get actual information.
Yeah, I don't like it. I hate even saying it. I hate when we have to report lower body injury. I mean, you can clearly see what's going on there, but you don't want to speculate. All right, let's
People like certainty, Richie. People just like certainty. Like, you like knowing that if he has an MCL sprain, you could probably dial it in and be like, yeah, it's expected 2 to 4 weeks or something like that. But there's a caginess. It's like hockey culture that you don't try to let, tip your hand at all. Another part of it is like, if he's hurt but he could play, but he's definitely got an injury he's dealing with, you don't want players targeting him, which definitely happens in hockey.
But all the players know, Chris, right? Everyone knows. You can see everyone has eyes.
I know.
Right?
I know. Yeah, but it's just like an old habits thing. I mean, that's why you see some of these situations where a team will undersell an injury and the guy can still play, but he's really hobbled out there. It's because they know that if the other team can get like a definitive fix on what the guy's condition is, they'll really target him and go after him.
Well, I mean, kind of like everyone knew what was going on with Aaron Rodgers' wrist. They didn't hide that. what was going on with his hand. So, I mean.
Well, that's what I mean, though. You're not, like, in hockey, that would be like they'd call it like an
upper body injury
because
right?
It's something on his arm. And, in the NFL, you just can't get away with doing that. Also, in Aaron Rodgers' case, he was wearing a giant cast on his hand, so I think everybody kind of knew. But, yeah, I mean, if that were a hockey situation, like, say he had a fracture in his wrist, you might find out, like, a week into the process that's what it is. But at first, it would just be, he's being evaluated with an upper body injury.
All right, let's get to our Penn West University question of the night. Just scan that QR code on the right-hand corner of your screen. How long do you think it will take Aaron Rodgers to make a decision on his future? Talk about another roller coaster ride. You're getting reports all over the board. No one really knows Aaron Rodgers, and it's basically up to him. I think Aditi was on your show saying it's like unlikely that he's going to come back, and she's talking to people. And I think maybe, and I don't know, I'm just guessing. She was talking a little bit, I think she said at the end of the season. Yeah, at the end of the season, when Mike Tomlin was gone, I think Aaron Rodgers might have said he wasn't going to come back. Even Art Rooney said that in his press conference. But you change things when you hire Mike McCarthy a little bit.
Seemingly, you could have changed things, yeah. I mean, I can go back, Richie, and take the bird's eye view here and say we shouldn't be talking about, will he come back or will he not?
You're right.
I think we know that they have a very defined ceiling if he's here. And it's not all that different than their ceiling if he's not here and they just have Will Howard or some other random quarterback come in his place. It's just, he might be fun for people who love nostalgia and who maybe delude themselves a little bit into thinking that a guy who's going to be in the Hall of Fame can turn back the clock for one more full season. But the fact of the matter is there's only one Tom Brady. And at this age, Brady had already won his last Super Bowl. It was in his rearview mirror. So I think in this particular case now, Rich, you're going to wait a couple of weeks. I suspect he's going to come back. He loves to keep this stuff close to the vest, but my gut tells me he's back with the Steelers, and we'll probably know within a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I would think he has to give them a decision before that March 9th legal tampering date, right? Because the Steelers are going to have to move on someone or something. And if it's not by then, it has to be by the draft, you would think, right? So I don't know.
He owes them more clarity,
yes,
more early in the process than he did last year, although I think it's pretty clear in retrospect, and Mike Tomlin sort of admitted it when he was still on the job. He seemed to be more like 99.9% sure Rodgers was coming when there were no signals coming from either side. It seemed like internally the Steelers genuinely knew what he was going to do. Maybe that's the case now, but we've gotten no indication so far that it is.
Yeah, maybe we'll find out something next week. All right, we're going to take a break. 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity Tweet of the Night from Chris's counterpart over the PM team, Andrew Filipponi. Great Steelers insider Ray Fittipaldo says he could get an answer on Aaron Rodgers returning to the Steelers next week at the NFL Scouting Combine, and if not, we'll find out shortly thereafter. Good, I don't want to play the waiting game. I kind of feel like you, Chris. I saw the Aaron Rodgers experiment, and I think he would probably be the best option. But I want to see the Steelers move away from that. I'd like to just go with Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and maybe draft someone like a Drew Aller. I had a bad scouting report on Aller, and we've watched him. Said he was slow at processing. But I heard that in the last couple of weeks, I heard that the problem was more the offensive coordinators than Drew Aller in that process too. So if you
Who'd you hear that from though? Like
someone inside the university actually. So
I saw a guy that they tried to surround with great talent at the wide receiver position this last year. They had Kotelnicki, and it was supposed to be this was finally going to all coalesce, and the quarterback looked like as big a problem, if not the bigger problem, than anybody else there. So,
but the quarterback supposedly was confused with all the pre-snap motions.
I mean, that doesn't speak very well to his ability to process and be locked in on the game plan. And I also think Rodgers is the best option only if you want to give people a nostalgia tour one more time and think that maybe he'll be worse this time and you'll go 6-11, but you'll get a draft pick out of it. Rich, by the way, Two things. One of these days I'll be the tweet of the night. I just got to stop doing all my tweets about like cooking. Pony's been the tweet of the night on this like numerous times. I'm sitting there tweeting about
because
what
I don't
movies I'm
use
seeing.
you. If I worked Monday and Tuesday like Bob, we would have a tweet of the night from you.
Oh, Bob's never used me for the tweet of the night because
we
like
got
I
to
just
complain
said,
to Bob.
Most of my tweets have nothing to do with sports. Pony's out there just doing engagement bait like nobody's business. The guy has mastered the algorithm without paying for a blue check. But Rich, none of that matters. Where are my manners? It's 10:46. I just wanted to wish you sincerely a happy 39th birthday, Rich. Just
thank you.
39 years young. I don't know how you're 2 years younger than me, but you are. It's incredible.
I'm catching up to you. Thanks a lot. I appreciate the birthday wishes. Yeah, today's a good day. I'm working here doing the show with you, so it's a great birthday.
Just what you wanted to do on your birthday. Clearly, that was your birthday wish. I want to talk sports for 25 minutes.
Kelly and I have big plans this weekend. I'm off tomorrow night and Saturday and Sunday, so we're gonna have a good time with her and the family and everything. So we're gonna celebrate. All right. Looks like most people say several months. They think the decision for Aaron Rodgers could be.
That should not. No. That cannot happen this time. And I think, by the way, it would be a really embarrassing mark against the Steelers if they let him drag this process out that long a second time without maybe the kind of backroom assurances that they had the first time around, like I mentioned, with Mike Tomlin maybe having a much better idea than the general public. You cannot let the guy do that again.
All right, let's go out to David in Finleyville. How you doing, David?
Fine, thank you. Thanks for taking my call. I think bringing back Rodgers would be a bad idea, considering his age. We saw what he did in the playoffs, and he got demolished.
He couldn't do it, David. He was incapable of like beating and standing in against and making throws against a really good defense. He
didn't play well down the stretch, really, either. I mean, you think about it in totality.
Yes, how about going after Malik Willis? I know it will cost a lot of money, but at least that's McCarthy's old team, and maybe he'll bring something to the team. Thanks.
There's a very small window from what we can glean from Willis, right? I don't feel comfortable paying him 25, 30, or even some people are saying upwards of $40 million a year for his services. Would you feel comfortable with the Justin Fields contract for Malik Willis?
I'd feel comfortable paying him $40 million for 1 year, let alone 40 over 2. I'd pay him 2 years, $80 million. I'd do it.
Would you really?
Rich, but you have to look at it in terms of what the quarterback market is. The market rate for like the top of the market is $60 million, all right? It's what Prescott's currently getting, and it's going to get reset soon enough by somebody else. You have to look at it this way. Are you willing to pay Malik Willis like 66% of the market rate, like top of the market rate for a quarterback? Like I could go look at the average salary for the position. I'm sure it's much higher than people probably realize. The cap keeps going up. Like I understand that that's like sticker shock because you're just not used to seeing a guy make that much money with so little track record. But I would do it. Short-term deal, sure. I think the problem for the Steelers is I think he's going to go play quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals for Mike LaFleur. Because he had his best success. He kind of resuscitated a career that was on life support early with Matt LaFleur. So go play with Mike instead. I don't think the Steelers are actually going to have a realistic chance to sign him, but I absolutely think they should because the dude showed he could make all the throws, make plays with his legs. I enjoyed the heck out of watching him when he actually got a chance to play up there.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not. I mean, you would say it's a seller's market for quarterbacks right now, right? There's not a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why his price is going to go up. You don't want to get in a bidding war.
Supply is way out of whack. Yeah. Supply is way out of whack with demand. Demand is way higher than supply, and that means if you are part of the supply, you're going to get premium bucks. I mean, this is not a situation where there are a million different quarterbacks out there and there are only 2 slots to be filled. I mean, this is what you're doing if you draft Malik Willis, or if you sign him, if you make an aggressive play to sign him. Is this. You're saying that you think he's better than obviously anybody you could otherwise get this year, and you're saying you have a reasonable degree of confidence that under Mike McCarthy and this coaching staff, he could be somebody that's better than anybody you might have access to in the 2027 draft and beyond. I think he's talented enough to at least take that risk like halfway and say, hey, if it doesn't work out after 1 year, we might be on the hook for a little bit of extra money, but so what? We have a rookie quarterback we'll be drafting. I think he's talented enough to at least want to kind of take that leap.
You'd rather do that than go with Mason Rudolph or Will Howard and draft, let's just say Aller or Nussmeier or someone like that?
My priority list for this year, if I could just had a genie and I'd say, okay, here are the realistic options here. I can't trade for Josh Allen, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Option 1, Malik Willis, 2 years, $80 million. I would do that because that's 2 years.
I think it's crazy, but go ahead.
You're not crushing yourself with term. Well, somebody's going to give him that, by the way. If he ends up being good, it's going to look like a bargain.
You're right.
So just to be clear here. Second option, Will Howard starts 17 games for the Steelers, sink or swim. Third option, for some reason the Steelers decide to give Mason Rudolph his real chance to be the starting quarterback like 6 years later, and he starts. Fourth option, I don't know, draft anybody and decide you're just going to start a complete rookie like he's Brock Purdy. Fifth option, bring back Aaron Rodgers, which will cause me to pull my non-existent hair out of my head.
All right, before we go to break here, what about other options that might be realistic? What do you do with Kyler Murray? If you think Malik Willis is going to go there, I mean, they're going to have to release him. No one's going to trade for that contract. Do you take a chance on someone like him? Do you trade for a Mac Jones? Some other guys, Milroe. Who else is out there that you could potentially I don't want to trade for Tanner McKee because I think you got a Tanner McKee in the quarterback room already.
I mean, I think McKee's got some interesting potential, size and everything else. If you're comparing him to Rudolph, I think that's just like a size comp. I think Eagles fans, there are some of them there who probably feel like he's better than Jalen Hurts, which is insane, but also kind of funny.
Didn't you guys talk about Chris C.J. Stroud at all? I mean, do you think he would be available?
No, he's not getting dealt. Like, I know that story's out there that he could get dealt, that they might look and entertain offers. He's not getting dealt. I think they'd be crazy to do it. I would absolutely trade for him. I think he played horribly in the playoffs like we all saw, but I think he's a good quarterback who can bounce back from that. As far as Milroe, Seattle's not going to, move off of him yet, obviously. And Kyler Murray, I have very real questions. I try not to delve into how much does he want it? Does he care? Does he prep? Does he study? Because you usually assume most quarterbacks do. I think there are real and legitimate questions about how much of want to there is with Kyler Murray. And lastly, you said Mac Jones. If you're Kyle Shanahan, you might be arrogant enough to think you can turn any quarterback into a good backup, but you saw what he did last year. Why wouldn't you want to keep that insurance policy on the roster for one more year?
Yeah. All right, we got to take a break. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back. Another big loss for the Pitt basketball team, and they didn't even play a game. Brandon Cummings is out for the remainder of the season. Chris, we have a question here from Jace from Twitter. Do you think the Pitt men's basketball team fails to even qualify for the ACC tournament? We have about 20 seconds.
Yeah, I think there's no reason to believe that they will. This is another disaster year for Jeff Capel. I know everyone talks about next year's recruiting class, but this keeps up. I don't know how you keep them around.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. I appreciate the birthday wishes. See you next week. Hopefully, we see you on KDKA News right now.